let's talk about the economy under Donald Trump. Actually, I think this was 2018 or 2017. Watch.
But first, this weekend will mark a full year since President Trump was inaugurated. It has been a week of good economic news, which he touted today, including the Dow Jones Industrial Average quickly cracking the 26,000 mark, and Apple announcing that it will bring huge overseas profits back to invest in the U.S., paying tens of billions of dollars in taxes. How much of that credit should go to the president? Our economics correspondent Paul Solman posed that question for his weekly series, Making Sense.
Unemployment 4.1%, down from 4.8 when President Trump took office. GDP growing at more than 3%, faster than the last two Obama years. The stock market hitting new highs nearly every day. And President Trump says it's a function of his policies. Here he is in Pennsylvania this afternoon.
At the center of America's resurgence are the massive tax cuts that I just signed into law, with tremendous tax relief for working families, for small businesses, for big businesses that produce jobs, for just about everybody. Tremendous numbers, and you're already seeing what's happening.
And so the question, does the president deserve the credit?
On policy, I would give him maybe a B- to a B.
Lerman calls himself a moderate or market economist. He likes much of what Trump is doing for the economy.
I think the corporate reforms make sense. I think he's been pro-energy. Now, you can argue against it on environmental grounds, but I think that several steps will expand output in the energy field.
And that means jobs.
And that means jobs, and usually good jobs.
Lerman needs to find a new business to buy his ties at, because Lerman's ties are very big.
He's an economist. That's what they do. They're supposed to look like that. You wouldn't believe they were a good economist if they didn't look like that.
It's a disheveled hot mess.
Yes, that's the uniform of professors and economists. That's what they have to look like. If you saw an economist in a $5,000 suit, I think you'd be a little suspicious.
The tie by the pound.
All right, and let's just take a quick look at crime back in 2019.
The Department of Justice releasing its violent crime report for 2019. It shows a significant decrease in the number of victims.
Again, this is for 2019. There were 1.4 million in 2018, and the number dropped to 1.2 million last year. The DOJ says this is the first statistically significant decrease since 2015.
And they also found the rate of violent crime fell 15%. Among women, violent victimization fell 27%. All these numbers do not include simple assault. Some of the other declines include 880,000 fewer victims of serious crimes.
The report is based on the National Crime Victimization Survey. It includes violent incidents reported to law enforcement and those not reported. The survey's definition of violent crime includes rape, sexual assault, robbery, and an assault. The reason it bases these numbers off of information supplied by people who say they were victimized.
Do you know how hard I have to look to find these old clips?
Yeah. Thank God you're retired.
It's ridiculous how Google buries them. Absolutely buries them. You know, I remember when Trump was president, every single month, jobs reports strong, inflation down, economy booming, this and that and the other thing. And, you know, people forget all of that because COVID, right? And that disaster. And then, of course, at every single turn, the press was giving him grief because they didn't want him there. They did not want him to succeed. Here was a guy who had no business being president, and they did not want him to succeed. So to find these clips it's horrific.
But he was one of the most spectacular businessmen in American history. Isn't that what you need for your country? A businessman.
And that's he was the most renowned businessman. Everybody knew him all over the world. You could love him or hate him, but mostly they loved him.
Oprah loved him.
2015, it all disappeared after he came down that escalator and said he was running for president.